I'm Darren.
I'm Derek.
And this is the Double D Podcast.
Back at it again with
We're
another...
slowly getting a little off key.
Off key? What do you mean off key? We were on key there.
I feel like somebody had lag.
No, you were a little too fast. Did you think about that?
Slow
it down.
All right.
Slow and steady wins the race. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today we're here to talk about Armageddon.
I think it had some lag too. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, whoa. No, Armageddon, one of my favorite shows of the year because there's always guaranteed cage matches. And that's always fun to see. This took place September 28th. For those that attended that show,
it's probably not fun to feel.
Maybe, cages?
Yeah,
No,
I can imagine that would probably hurt a little bit.
For those that attended this show, there was also a show that morning in Versailles. This was the day of the double show, September 28th. So that was a show in Versailles in the morning, and then we had to go all the way to Cleves for Armageddon that night.
And that was a very rainy situation.
It was
as
rainy.
you see on the last review.
Yeah, it was rainy, but you know what? The good thing about Armageddon, indoors.
Yes.
So that was a good thing.
I don't even think we shared to them that it was a double show on the...
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, we did, because later...
We kept saying, like, later. Yeah, right.
But they didn't because we didn't upload it that... Well, we couldn't upload it that day.
Right, listen, guys, we have a lot of backed up videos, a lot of plans, a lot of stuff.
Hey, at least you guys are going to get some quick videos here soon.
Interviews coming up.
Major interview.
I'm very excited.
Major interview.
I'm excited about. I think both interviews.
Oh,
are
both are major. But this one in particular is going to catch everybody by surprise. I think.
Are you talking about BK?
Yeah.
BK.
Yeah.
BK. TJ and BK. That's the next two. So figure out in the comments who TJ and BK are. I feel like TJ may be a little easier.
That one's pretty easy.
We're interviewing Burger King. The whole franchise. All right. Well, anyway, listen. Armageddon, great show. Loved it. Fans were there. They were rowdy. They were loud.
They're loud as they always are.
Always are. And the action was so great that the ring once again just kind of fell apart. Now, listen. We talk a lot of great stuff here on Battle on the Border about Battle on the Border because we work with them. However. The ring situation, once again, coming into play here.
It's lacking.
The ring was falling apart. But that's just because the action's so good.
But
That's my excuse.
The good thing is that's not going to be a issue much longer.
Right. There will be a fix to that issue. So, in future shows, especially for Morris Hill coming up, you won't have to worry about that. That has been taken care of. It is solved 100% this time. So,
I would say, if you watch Denham's Live, you already know.
Right. Oh, that's right. He did.
If you watch Denham's Live, you already know that.
Sorry, I forgot.
Got a new ring.
I always forget what's been announced, what hasn't.
He had to bring the best of the best on there to make announcements like that. I mean, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So
Obviously,
we had to be on it.
Double D Podcast is always involved in the big announcements.
And I gotta ask a question. If somebody would buy a shirt that says Double D Podcast, let us know in the comments. Yeah, we're curious.
We're curious. We're looking into new ventures.
We've been thinking about this for a long time, but we're just curious.
Literally since day one of doing the podcast.
Yeah.
We should start We should make shirts.
Because I mean, we got shirts made. I mean, I gotta move this for a second. And they look pretty cool, but like, obviously it wouldn't be the same design, it'd be different design.
Right. So let us know in the comments.
If you buy a shirt that says Double D Podcast on, or even a koozie, let us know in the comments. We're super curious. We're not sure.
That's right. So, Armageddon.
Let's get to the business.
Get down to business.
To the deal.
Pull out my trusty notebook here. To start off, a women's title match between Shauna Reed, the champion, and Paris McQueen. Now, Paris McQueen, coming into this match, has Towelboy and Brandon Day by her side.
Yep.
Shauna Reed coming in by herself. However, she did have to defend the title earlier in the day. Now, that can play into an advantage and a disadvantage. Obviously, if you wrestle earlier, you use some energy. Maybe you suffered some type of injury, maybe a nagging one, not a serious one.
But it kind of gives you some time to recuperate too, with the time between.
There's recuperating time, and it gets you into the right mindset. Like you never I don't know this because I'm not a wrestler, but I assume that when you go into a match, you have a level of height, and if you know you have one later on, you probably keep that level of height, and you don't lose that competitive edge necessarily. So that's a big advantage.
I had to turn my fan down.
Or
you guys were wondering.
Or disadvantage. We have another one going over here. Hopefully it's not. Just...
Well, this one was screaming at me. That's why I was like, I'm gonna turn that down a little bit because if I could hear that, they could probably hear that.
Right.
Sorry if you heard the fan.
Sorry. But yeah, so this is a big match. Paris McQueen coming into this match was very excited. She wanted to win. She wanted to bring home the title for the Unchained Kingdom. And Brandon Day later in the night does have a title match also. So this could be its potential where the Unchained Kingdom, they come out of this Unchained Empire. Sorry, the Unchained Empire potentially come out of this with the women's title and the world heavyweight title.
You know what threw me off?
BOTB heavyweight title.
I didn't expect her to go for the title.
Hey,
Like,
I mean, her BOTB debut, in-ring debut, and she's going after the title.
yeah, that's like straight jump for it.
I mean, imagine your first match in BOTB, and you get a world title, or you get the women's title. That's a huge.
When I heard there was a title match, I figured it was like somebody that's got the reputation, and no, it wasn't.
Well,
but,
if you remember,
it's great. But
this started because at the last show, Paris McQueen and Shauna Reed exchanged some words. Brandon Day may or may not have called Shauna Reed a B word.
Yeah, true.
Bitch, for those that are wondering. So that might have played into this matchup as well.
Yeah.
Shauna's not one to shy away from a challenge.
No.
So
no.
she'll take
she'll
a
jump in
challenge.
the ring with anybody.
Paris McQueen is like, quote unquote, gutsy enough to throw out a challenge. Shauna Reed
Might
ain't
as well
gonna say no.
accept it. Yeah, I mean, even
Yeah.
debut or not.
Right. So this was a great match, but of course, because Towboy was out there, Brandon Day's backstage getting ready for his match, he sent Towboy out there. Now Towboy, I mean, that's all we know about him. That's what he was announced as, and that's what we're going to call him here is Towboy. And listen, Towboy using some underhanded tactics. Now, of course,
I thought he was pretty impressive.
he didn't see any, and he was super impressed with
He had-
Towboy.
I was looking at the music. I don't know what. I didn't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I've seen a fantastic match, and I'm extremely happy with Paris McQueen joining our roster in the sense of in the women's division.
No, of course. Well, the
she
women's
has got it.
women's division's grown tenfold since we've started here in Battle.
Yeah, I
of the
mean,
Border, so.
we had like maybe 4 or 5 girls
Yeah, now
at one
it's
time. Now we're looking at what, 9?
double digits. I'd say
yeah,
we're at
double,
like 10
yeah.
or 11. I mean,
I guess it would be in double.
yeah. So it's great to have more, but I mean, with that having that such a big division, I mean that makes wins and losses even in title matches important. Like Paris
very
McQueen
important.
loses, now she's at the back of the line because someone else is going to get a win later on, and they might have a title shot. So now it's like even it used to be where if you lost a title match, you're like, okay, I just have to win maybe one more and I'm back in the title race.
Yeah.
It's not that simple now.
No, it makes it a lot more difficult, and you don't, people's got to get their fair chances.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't just go back to back to back, same person. I mean, you got 13, maybe 12, 13 other people that, you got to give them title shots eventually. You got to let them have it.
And Shauna came out swinging, man, with as much as the underhanded tactics were going on. And Paris McQueen, very talented in her own right, not taking anything away from her there, but she was doing her thing. Towboy being a distraction. Shauna Reed at one point, I think, kind of won over Shauna, if you remember correctly. There was a little moment there where Towboy, I think, was a little, like some would be with Shauna Reed if you're that close to Shauna Reed. So, hey, that's something Paris McQueen's going to have. I'm sure Paris McQueen and Brandon Day talked to him about that, because later on he does get a little bit of, not revenge on Shauna, but redemption for himself later on in the night. Shauna, though, like I said earlier, putting it on the line. I mean, if you have the title on the line, you have to do everything you can. She went through the ropes. She did a tope suicida, as they call it, through the ropes. So she was doing everything she could, man. And Shauna Reed was able to get the victory here for the title, to retain the title. So
I was going to say, obviously it was enough of them, because she was pushing.
Oh, Paris McQueen pushed her to her limits.
Oh,
She really
yeah.
did.
It
But
wasn't a lay-down match. That's for damn sure.
It's one of
This arguably could have probably been a main event.
It could have been. Every single match
just,
on this could have been.
like,
It really could have.
And I was super impressed because we never really seen Paris McQueen wrestle.
No, this is the first time.
I'm happy to see her. Well, like, we've seen her come out,
Yeah.
but we've never seen her actually wrestle. And I'm actually really happy that she's been added to her roster.
Absolutely.
Like, that was a great addition. I mean, they couldn't have picked a better person.
Okay, yeah, I see you're talking a lot of hype about it. I agree. She's
It was a fantastic match.
But you're also overlooking the fact that there was a lot of underhanded tactics going on with Towboy. Towboy was distracting Shauna. Paris was getting in her
Cowboy
shots.
ended up leaving halfway through the match.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
Like-
I agree, Paris. But you're talking a lot about Paris here, and that's
yeah,
great.
she's doing a
But
fantastic.
Shauna got the
Everybody
victory.
knows that Shauna Reed is good. That's
Okay, I see
old
what you're saying.
news. This is new news from a new person
But
that's
Shauna-
jumping like straight into it.
Shauna did it the right way.
Okay.
And she got the victory.
What's the technical right way?
Well, not having Towboy stand out there and cause distractions.
Nobody called a penalty.
Penalty?
I
What are we
didn't see no
playing?
flag.
What are we playing? What sport are we talking about?
Exactly. There is none.
Well,
What are you supposed to do? Hold on.
Yeah,
Stop.
The referee's supposed to catch Towboy.
And he
doing
never said the dang on thing about it, did he?
Well, I think that's why Towboy left halfway
Well,
through. But
there we go. It was a wonderful match between
was.
fair wrestlers.
Fair-
And no one's going to change my mind.
fair to a point. Okay, I agree. Now, here's the important thing, though, because you are such a big Paris McQueen fan. See, I noticed what you do. You had the Kick Door Promotions. Now you're kind of latching on to Unchained Empire. I get it. You just like being a part of a group. I get it. What's next for Paris McQueen?
You know, I think she's going to have to do a little bit of work, kind of get some more feels with most of the girls that are wrestling with us. I think by next year she'll be going for another title shot.
Yeah, bold prediction there. I like it, though. I don't know.
I mean, to be completely honest with you,
enough.
I think that, yeah, by next year, at least, like next year this time, not like after the first.
Right.
Like next year this time, like one complete calendar year.
And she might have
I
whatever
think
Shauna.
she'll be going for another challenge.
And then-
If Shauna's, or anybody, whoever has it.
Right, that's true. That's a very good point. And in Shauna's case, it's kind of easy to say what's next for her because she's going to defend her title.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever it is who steps
It's just
up.
you got to
and
think of who's the next silly Billy that's going to try and take it.
that answer might be answered. That question, excuse me, that question might be answered. I mean, answer might be answered. That question might be answered later on, so we'll get to that later. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Paris McQueen was very talented, and it is the first loss in the Unchained Empire's night of action. Do you think that Brandon Day? Do you think I don't think it did, but do you think that Brandon Day that may have got into his head a little bit, where he's even like, man, I was really hoping we got that one. Now, a little bit more pressure on him for his whole group, or
I don't think so. I think they pretty well know what they've got, what they've been working on. They work together, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm sure they're always working on something, trying to figure something out. If anything, that gave Paris McQueen an upper hand because now she knows what Shauna Reed's going to potentially do. She kind of got the feeler out match.
Good point. Okay. That's
So
good.
what
That's a good
they
way to
probably
look at
done is they probably took that information, took it back to the training, and are working on it. I can almost guarantee you that.
That's a really good point. That's one of the best points you've made in this whole
Well,
podcast.
I mean, if you
ever.
really think about
that's
it,
a really good point.
you're going to jump into a match with the champion.
Yeah.
You're going to memorize shit that's going on.
Yeah.
And then just take that back and work on it and kind of get an idea of like what's going to be next for herself.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if you have Shauna, who's the champion, you can kind of use that. I mean, if she's like the top dog in the division, theoretically, you should be able to use that against every other woman in the division. It should
and
work.
that should be good enough to work.
Right, in theory. But I mean, the women's division again stacked.
Oh,
So-
it's definitely, there's some tough girls. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's not going to be a walk in the park. That's for damn sure.
Not at all. Next match, speaking of not walks in the park, this next match featured two people who wrestled earlier on in the day and got victories in their respective matches. That's, not Benjamin Camara. He did not. But Marion Fontaine did.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Camara versus Marion Fontaine. So Marion Fontaine was able to get a victory over Gaston LaRue.
Yep.
And Versailles, Benjamin Camara took on took on Paxton
Paxton
Calloway.
Calloway, yeah.
And did not get the victory. But again, like we were talking about, where you have that match against someone like Paxton Calloway, and then now all of a sudden, now you're getting Marion Fontaine. And this is no disrespect to Marion Fontaine, but there's obviously a size difference, a little bit of an experience difference. So that probably helped, I would imagine, Benjamin Chimera going into this matchup. Now, with Marion Fontaine winning, he's on that high, he's on that win, maybe not thinking 100%, head's not 100% in the match. Benjamin Chimera has a point to prove because he did lose earlier on in the night.
And not to mention, he's a legend debuting at Battle on the Border.
Right, technically, he debuted earlier on, right, and Versailles lost. Now he has his first, major show, Armageddon's one of the major
because that's
shows.
one of our major shows that we have, and he's debuting again. So I mean, you're going from, 25 years of being a, super legend, destroying everybody, thrown into a different environment with different ownership, with different wrestlers.
Yeah. And
So,
I'll give him this. After his loss against Paxton, he didn't really make a lot of excuses. He said, I'm going to work my way up. And that's something I do actually really appreciate.
And he said he was going to start from the bottom.
He said he was going to work his way all the way up. And Marion Fontaine, who also made his BOTB debut earlier and did get a victory.
Man, I like his style.
I really like Marion Fontaine. I like both of these guys.
I like his style and his music.
Oh, you like? Yeah, his music. Yeah,
I
cool.
like
He
it,
looks like Freddie Mercury.
It works. I
weren't-
like the mustache.
If you weren't at the show, look up a picture of Freddie Mercury, and that's basically what Marion Fontaine looked like.
Just delete the teeth.
Yeah, the teeth are a little the teeth are a little nicer, and he can wrestle. I don't think Freddie Mercury could wrestle. So, this was when I heard about this matchup, I was super excited because again, you have two guys who are new in Battle on the Border. This is a feeling out process for us as well.
Yeah, and they don't really know each other. I'm sure, they're probably just now facing into the match. I don't know what any of them's past is. I
don't
know
know.
one's
Maybe
been wrestling since I've been born.
Yeah, my
And
whole
then,
life. Yeah.
then the other one is looks not much older than us. But
yeah. Well, I know I know how old he is, and I won't ruin the illusion there. He could potentially be in his 40s.
Either way, he looks young.
But the point is, both these guys have veteran experience.
Yes.
They've wrestled other places. But Benjamin Kamara obviously has that edge.
Oh,
I
100%.
I don't know for sure, but I think he has that veteran edge.
I mean, the fact that when you're wrestling at WWE,
Wrestled, yeah.
I mean, that
WWE
automatically gives you an edge.
Yeah.
Like, if
Absolutely.
it doesn't, then I don't know what you're doing in WWE.
And listen, and Benjamin
So-
Chimera's put his notice on. He wants to be the champion. He
Oh, yeah.
lost to Paxton, but he wants to come after Paxton. He wants to come after whoever has the title. If it's not Paxton, whoever it is. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the heavyweight division has to be put on notice with Benjamin Chimera's arrival. And then
That just throws another excellent contestant in.
And we talked about Marion Fontaine on the last episode about how he could easily be a zero gravity
Oh, yeah.
guy. So that's something to keep in mind also. So this is a big match for both of them because again, if Marion Fontaine can get 2 victories,
Yep.
then you have to wonder maybe he's in line for a title shot.
Yeah, I could see him going into the next zero gravity match.
Yeah.
Having a next zero, well, probably obviously not the next match because shit's being released already, I think. Hell, I don't know. I ain't been looking, to be honest with you.
Well,
But-
yeah, we'll get to that later.
But either way,
I pay attention.
I see him going to zero gravity soon.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later.
So this match was a great matchup. Obviously, a big size difference. Benjamin Kamara, a much bigger opponent than Marion
Yeah.
Fontaine. But we talked about this in the past. Marion Fontaine has the speed advantage, and he
Mm-hmm.
used it to his advantage at times during the match. But Benjamin Chimera's veteran experience, size, ultimately was too overwhelming for Marion Fontaine. And the victory by submission, getting your opponent to tap out is a little different. In my opinion, I think it's a little different than a pin. A pin, you can kind of say is lucky. I mean, you got me with a lucky shot, a lucky hit, whatever. Lucky move, but submission, I mean, that has to be you are the one that's tapping out, and you tapped out Marion Fontaine.
Yeah, you gotta be in so much pain you can't stand it.
Right. So Benjamin Chimera now moves to 1-1.
Which I don't.
Marion Fontaine's also 1-1, so it's kind of an even feeling out process here. So we know what's next for Benjamin Chimera.
Yeah, we
Because
know what's next for Benjamin
At the
Kamara.
time
Yes.
of recording this, it has been announced that at Moores Hill on November 23rd, I believe, right? That's right, you know.
November 23rd.
November 23rd, there is a 4-on-4 fans bring the weapons match where Benjamin Chimera will host one team and Sergeant Ledbetter will host the second team. As of the time of recording this, there has been one member on Sergeant Ledbetter's team confirmed, and that is the heavy metal Viking Hooks.
And conveniently, somebody was in the video with him.
Yeah, I was there. I was there for the announcement in real life. Well, listen, I'm a part of the training
So
school.
who's kissing the butt?
Yeah, no. I was in training. I was in the training school. I can't help it. You got your shoulder hurt. Otherwise, you would have been there. I was in the training school. We were working on some moves and stuff in the ring. And when Denham got there,
Potentially working on underhanded tactics.
no underhand. Sergeant Ledbetter would never teach us underhanded tactics.
Yeah, right.
was a
He
man
went
of
a
honor.
year of that crap.
Well, he did, but he's changed now. And now that he's training us to be honorable human beings.
Honorable.
Either way, we were working on stuff in the ring, and Denham gets there. When Denham gets there, Sergeant Ledbetter says, "Hey, I'm glad you're here. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about Hooks being the partner." So
You
it
know,
is
I've got to
officially
say, that's pretty rude of them to intervene.
he
When
does
you're
it all,
trying to learn,
he does it all the time.
and Denham just comes busting through the door like a damn Kool-Aid
He
man.
thinks he owns it. He thinks
It's almost like
owns
he
it.
owns the school or something.
What
Gosh.
we'll get on that in another
Did he say,
podcast.
"Oh yeah," when he busted in the door?
No,
oh, yeah.
just sneaks in and he like peeks his head through and he's just looking through. And, no. In all seriousness, though, sometimes this time not necessarily because he came in and that's how the announcement. But in the past, he's actually gotten in the ring a little bit.
I don't believe that.
So
Denham
something to
get in
think
the
about.
ring?
Yeah, he would never do that.
No.
Anyway,
Why would
please,
he do that?
We're straying. The point is
Just
that
like, why would he take staples in the head?
Benjamin Chimera coming up has a 4-on-4 match against Sergeant Ledbetter and Hooks as of now. By the time this is released, I don't know what else has also been, but that's what we have now. So,
Which is unfortunate. I have to miss that.
going into this, what do you think? I mean,
That really
Who do you
sucks.
think? I think we talked about this. No, we haven't. We have not talked about this on the podcast.
No.
We talked about it on the live. Who
Yes.
do you think Benjamin Chimera's partners are?
So, trying to remember. Benjamin Kamara.
It's just guesses right now, so you can say whoever.
Well, I was doing some other thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, since Ledbetter's already napped up Hooks, I figured that was going to happen.
Of course.
I still think that Benjamin Kamara is going to take King Kong Pete. I still think that he's still going to try and grab up. I can't remember.
Ron Mathis?
Yeah, Ron Mathis.
Okay.
I still think he's going to nab him up. And For a third person, yeah, I only did 2. For a third person,
I mean, there's a lot of names out there. You
yeah,
Shane Douglas.
I'm still gonna stick with Aaron Gunn.
Aaron Gunn, Ethan.
I'm still gonna stick because somebody's got to have Aaron Gunn. I mean, he's just a complete psychopath.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
he is a psycho.
If you have Aaron Gunn and Hooks on the other side, like that would be pretty even out. You got 2 psychos, and then 2 somewhat normal-ish people.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
It's a good question. I mean, we interviewed Benjamin. Oh, well, we interviewed Benjamin Chimera.
All right, just give it away.
I just reviewed it. Sorry.
Whatever.
That was who the BK is. Benjamin Chimera is our next interview.
Obviously, it's not Burger King.
And when we asked him, he did not reveal who his partners are, or did he?
Which Derek really pried.
I did, because listen, I just wanted someone to...
Nah, you pretty well give up.
Well,
I know you're not going to give it up.
I know at this point people aren't going to say, but I have to ask.
But you're going to at least try. And
right.
I know I don't talk a lot in the interviews. I ain't good at interviewing. I know people are thinking that.
I don't know anyone who's thinking that. Who's thinking that?
I know. I see a guy just sitting there.
Well, you're an important part of this. You are the reason we have a camera, so you have to be there. It's kind of important. And you did ask a question. You asked one of the better questions of the interview, I think.
I asked some good questions,
Yeah,
but like I
all
can't
you
think
need.
of them on the fly.
You're good, man. You do good in the interviews. We do good. So anyway, make sure to stay tuned for that. So, that's what we know
It's a
is
great
next
interview,
for
though.
Benjamin Chimera, and I'm sure after this, depending on what happens, win, loss, who knows. But maybe the World Heavyweight title is something he thinks about. If it is a fans bring a weapons match, maybe he gets that itch and maybe does some hardcore stuff. Who knows? But we do know that the next thing for him is that. Now,
Yeah.
Marion Fontaine, I think we talked about it before, zero gravity.
Zero gravity.
He did get a loss here, but it was against a bigger opponent. So maybe we see him in the future. I think he will return in that division sooner rather than later, would be my guess.
With that, he runs into
Justin Xavier.
a pretty good challenge. I mean, you've got some very good zero gravity. You got Dax,
Yep.
Justin Xavier,
TJ Fury.
TJ Fury, Ethan Evans potentially could do zero
Could
gravity.
be, yeah, could be. I'm not sure.
I don't know. He more swings. Seems like zero gravity, hardcore.
I think he's more of a hardcore guy, if I had to guess. But I mean,
if he had to, he could. He could do a zero gravity. I'm sure.
maybe, yeah. So I mean,
there's potential that, not potential. I guess there is some very fantastic wrestlers that
Matt Taylor is another one who
Taylor.
could do zero gravity. So
he,
something to keep an eye on. I do think he'll be back, like I said, sooner rather than later. Coming up next, and this is the third match of the night. This shows you how stacked the card is. And that's the BOTB heavyweight title match, and that is between the champion Paxton Calloway and Brandon Day. Now, Brandon Day, since his turn on Shane Douglas, his rivalry with Shane Douglas has kind of, and now he has all these lackeys, for lack of a better term,
this group
with
and
only really one lackey, and that's Talboy. And then Paris McQueen, who is the queen, he is the king, and then they have Talboy now. So this is a legit, and there's some other members also. So I mean, this is a legit group that needs to be taken seriously. And we talked about it earlier. They had the opportunity to get the women's title. They fell short, but now they have the opportunity to become BOTB heavyweight champion.
I think when Kickdoor was in, that they were able to do a lot of their stacking because nobody was looking at them.
Right.
Nobody had an idea what their plan was.
Right.
But now Kickdoor's not there no more. The only other group, all eyes on them.
That's right.
So that kind of brings the spotlight on them now that they don't have that distraction and they're kind of getting revealed.
Yep.
Which can be good or bad.
Right. And Paxton has Bobby Fulton with him, and we've talked about Bobby Fulton, the power of Bobby Fulton on the show before. Great manager,
He's
legendary.
a grumpy old man.
Well, listen, you have to deal with people like Talboy out there.
Fair
there was a
enough.
moment in this match, like I said.
He can throw a punch, though. He can still throw a punch.
Oh, yeah.
And a chair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He ain't afraid to grab no chair.
I'm not getting in his way.
No. He ain't afraid to grab no damn chair. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, so that helps Paxton automatically in this matchup, just like an edge. But Brandon Day cannot, like you said, cannot be taken lightly.
No.
Brandon Day is a...
He's a serious competitor, and it seems like he's bound to do anything to get what he wants.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. It's dedication.
That comes into this matchup. It's actually a really good segue here. But before I get to that segue, there was a moment in this matchup, what I was going to say, where Talboy was... There's some shenanigans in this matchup is what I wrote down. Shenanigans. I always try to...
You always write down shenanigans or underhanded tactics.
When there's shenanigans and underhanded tactics, I make sure to point it out.
He ain't looking to half the match.
There was a moment...
Just saying.
I'm writing note. There was a moment in time where Talboy was getting a little too close for Bobby Fulton's comfort. And Bobby Fulton gave him one of these, gave him a little fake
He wasn't even doing anything.
And Talboy retreated back. That's
Well,
all I
yeah,
wanted
if
to
you're
say.
just sitting there not even doing nothing, somebody's
was-
sitting over there threatening you.
He was
like,
100%, dude. The Cowboy had the towel and was doing something, getting in the face of Paxton. He was
well, once that
distracting.
you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, but
He ain't
you have the
physically
great,
laying hands on him,
and neither did Bobby, did he?
and he's going out
Well,
full threat.
stay away from Bobby Fulton's people. Bobby Fulton he's here for business and make sure everything goes right.
He needs a little assistance. He's going straight to violence, and violence is not the answer.
In pro wrestling, violence is the answer.
Not in the managerial look at.
This is coming from the guy who supports Brandon Day and his shenanigans, Kick Door, and the shenanigans they used to do.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell shenanigans you're talking about.
Well, either way, the point is that this match.
I'm happy I was a fan of the Mask Guys, because the Mask Guys ended up being pretty damn good wrestlers.
They have been pretty good. two of them have
Finally, when they
showed
pulled
up
the
and
daggone
been
masks
good.
off.
Here's the point that I was getting to. You said that by any means necessary, do anything. That's what Brandon Day is about, and that actually showed in this matchup because at some point it was getting a little dicey for Brandon Day. It looked like he was about to lose and not one to be pinned. He made sure to. There was a DQ in this matchup, so the winner by default and no title change is Paxton Calloway.
Yep.
By disqualification. So a little bit of an underwhelming finish, in my opinion, only because I wanted to see Brandon Day get pinned. I'll be honest. Listen, the shenanigans, Towboy, Paris and Queen, them being out there, I wanted to see Brandon Day get his, finally get put into his place.
Well, you always have your vengeance against him.
Put into his plate. Well, because of what he did to Shane, and then ever since, it's
Maybe
just been...
Shane was letting it on.
Well, we'll get to Shane. We'll get to Shane later. But the point is that there was no title change in this matchup. Winner by default, just because the DQ is, because he has the title still, Paxton Calloway. Now, I imagine that DQ was a very strategic play by Brandon Day because when a DQ happens, technically, I mean, there was a finish to the match, right?
Still counts as a W.
There wasn't there. Right, Paxton has the title.
Let's say it still counts as W. It may not have been a title change, but
Brandon Day also knows that he didn't get pinned, and he can use that against Paxton.
Yeah.
I never was pinned by Paxton.
He's a big dude to not be pinned too.
There was a DQ, but I was not pinned. I deserve another title shot, and I have a feeling that Brandon Day is going to do that.
Oh yeah, he's
not done with Paxton.
He's got his eyes on that title. And I don't
know,
think anything's going to deter him from attempting to get that title.
Now that I say it, Brandon Day is actually a really good guess for Benjamin Chimera's group in Morris Hill. I mean, listen, a win's a win, and a big victory like that could potentially get you. I mean, hey, I'm just saying,
you get a big dude like that in your corner,
right? If
that's
Benjamin
a good thing.
Chimera knows Brandon Day, that might be someone we get to see. And then
I wouldn't even thought of him.
Yeah, see.
I
didn't think about it either until just now.
Imagine you got Benjamin Chimera, you got Brandon Day, Aaron Gunn, and it would be awesome.
Oh, I see the gears.
It would be real awesome if he got for Kong.
That's a group. Right there.
that would be a group that if I seen pissed off in a bar, I'm turning around going the other way.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So
Brandon Day, though, like I said, by default, Brandon Day lost by DQ. Smart strategic move by him, potentially. Yes. So Paxton is still champion, and we know what's next for Paxton. Paxton's going to defend the title.
Yeah, he's going to keep defending and doing what he's...
And he has a huge challenge, literally, at Morris Hill. At Morris Hill is going to be Paxton Calloway taking on the American Giant, who we talked about in the Versailles show. Predictions for that, since you're not going to be there.
Now, I got to say, this is a guy that's only 3 inches taller, mind you.
Yeah. But more experience.
More experience, but he's got age.
Right, that's true.
He's younger. Paxton Calloway's younger.
Yep.
So I think the favorite is going to go towards Paxton Calloway.
Right.
Because just the simple fact of age.
Yeah.
Because the Great American Giant's maybe in his 50s.
I don't know. I'll be honest. 40s, 50s.
Looks like somewhere like that.
Older than Paxton for sure.
And Paxton's like maybe 30s,
early
20s,
late
30s, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, I think age is going to play a big role in that because, you're younger, which means you got some more spunk.
Right. Paxton, really, all he has to do is kind of outlast the American Giant.
If he can last longer than the American Giant, I think he can handle it.
This is one of the toughest, we always say this, Brandon Day, one of the toughest challenges. We said it last time, Benjamin Chimera, toughest challenge. it seems like Shane Mercer. Every time Paxton is in the ring, it's always his toughest challenge.
Well,
Eventually, though, he's going to run into somebody tougher. There's always somebody tougher.
He's 7 foot tall. He's going to have tough challenges from everyone.
Has to. I mean, Brandon Day, listen, in all seriousness, I know I give a lot of... Brandon Day, I do think, if I had to make a prediction, like if I had to put a bet on who is going to be a champion in BOTB in the next year, Brandon Day would be my bet. I think he's very talented. I don't think he needs all of the extra. I don't think he needs Talboy. I don't think he needs, no offense to Paris McQueen, but I don't think he needs Paris McQueen on the outside.
He don't, but it's always good to have that support.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying is, so as much crap as I give Benjamin Chimera at Versailles or Brandon Day here, they are really tough challenges. They're really tough challenges. And now the American Giant, somebody who's taller than Paxton, somebody with more experience than
3
Paxton.
inches.
I mean, this is going to be an insane match. I'm very excited for it.
It sucks I have to miss that because that match is a match that, like, every wrestling fan for, hell, since the Giants started coming in, I'm not sure who the first ever Giant was, but I remember one was the Great Khali.
Yeah.
He was always a fan favorite just because how
big,
enormous
special
he was.
attraction, yeah.
So, I mean, them two going together that's definitely going to be a fan favorite match, and I have a feeling they're going to get a very positive.
I'm going to tear the house down, almost literally.
I hope that ring's able to withstand that much weight.
Yeah, two big dudes.
I mean, you're talking like probably 800 pounds.
It has to be close to that. I imagine. It has to be, right?
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, 700. Yeah, it has to be close to something like that. I mean, speaking of big dudes, moving into this next matchup, we have the Surging Kings of Eric Surge and King Bomani. They are the new tag team champions. I see that look on your face. You were a huge hater of these guys, and guess what?
The one disappeared for God knows how long, and then thinks he's going to come in all fancy in a car.
Came in a car. It was one of the best crowd reactions
beeping his
I've
horn.
heard.
I didn't even get to play his music.
Oh, it was oh, that's what you're jealous of. You're mad just because you didn't get to play his music. But the point is, they're new tag team champions. And Congo Kong, listen, Congo Kong at the time had CFR in his corner.
Yep.
It didn't go well. That's where they lost the titles. I mean,
I think it was CFR's fault.
Yeah, we talked about that the last time. And listen, I mean, it's not. Here's the thing.
Better.
It's not that it's CFR's fault. I mean, you might be saying that. I'm saying that it's just that, like, Kong and Fulton, Madman Fulton, they have the gel together. CFR and Kong didn't have that. So now, in going into this matchup, Congo Kong gets to pick an opponent of his choice. Now, that's a huge advantage.
Well, yeah, it can be. Depends on who you can bring out, who you can get.
And the question for us all, like, leading up to this show was just who would Congo Kong, because that's the match, is Surging Kings. Another
What
tag
you gotta
team
say
title
is
match.
the goofiest name I ever heard.
Oh, come on, it's a great name. Don't listen to him.
That
He's a
sounds like
hater.
they got in the back and was like, hey, let's just make this our name, dude. This would be so
It's
funny.
right there. What do you mean funny? It's right there. Surge and King. Surging Kings. Duh, that makes sense. That's what it's called makes sense. What do you want him to be called?
Something like little outlandish.
You're a hater. He's a hater. Listen, I know that Surge and Kong listen to this.
Good.
When they
I hope they do.
You know, it's ironic you're not going to be at November 23rd. I don't know if they are either, but I know that they will be at New Year's Eve, and you will be too.
I will be there.
You're going to have to answer this. They don't ever let anything. They give you.
I'll
crap
see
all
if
the
I
time.
can get them on the
In
camera.
fact, when they won
We'll
the
get
title,
both of them on the camera to do an interview.
yeah, good.
We'll try anyways.
Good, because you know what? I'm so mad that I had to sit
They may
there,
say
there
no.
on the floor. I'm so mad I had to sit there on the floor.
I thought that was amusing.
Of course you did.
That was probably the best interview I've ever done.
Here's the point. This matchup is Surging Kings taking on Congo Kong and an opponent of his choosing.
It's Surge and King.
Surging Kings and
As in Surge and King Wamani.
Congo Kong and a tag team partner of his choosing. A lot of people he could choose. Who did you think it was coming? I had no clue. I'll be honest, I had no clue. Because I mean, how many friends does Congo Kong have?
Completely honest with you, the dude's mute half the time,
Yeah.
so I had no clue
You can't
who
get a
he
word out
was
of
going to bring out. He was talking a little bit.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you can't go up to him and ask him who his tag team partner is going to be.
I figured maybe he was going to bring Barnabas Spector.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey.
I mean, that would be the only other person. I know he's his manager,
Or
but
maybe
like,
try to play a little mind game and maybe bring out Madman Fulton anyway. Like, that could be a little of a mind game you play with the tag team partners. I was thinking maybe something like that, but we got an even better. Listen, we have been doing Battle on the Border content now for 3 years, and there's one person that we have heard a lot about. There's a person that we have done, we have edited a promo for once. There's a person that we have heard so many stories about. We actually got to see before we were doing the podcast, before we were working with BOTB in any capacity. There's one name that has always escaped us since then. Someone who's been on shows, supposed to be on shows, and there's a man who has recently went through some losses.
Yep,
This is
through
a
some
man
hardship.
who I have been super excited to see, and that is Dirtbag Dan. That's right. Finally.
Honestly, probably one of the last people I would have thought of coming out with Kong.
What a weird group
But-
right there, right? Congo Kong, and they're like polar opposites.
Yeah.
Cut on the same cloth as far as how they're willing to get things done,
Yeah.
but not at all the same. And that's what makes the tag team interesting, because when I saw Dirtbag Dan was there, I was like,
What the hell?
I was like, no way.
He's been talking all kind of crap about wanting to come
Yeah,
and
yeah.
come and wrestle, and he's like, I'm on my way, and
And you never
you
see
don't
him.
expect him to be there.
So
and,
when he's finally there, it's like, holy crap.
like, that's the guy.
And, you know, for those who have seen BOTB shows, you know that the referee will always check people for weapons before they come in. Now, referees sometimes don't always see things. We've
Yeah.
seen brass knuckles somehow get used even though refs check things, but wrestlers are creative. They know how to hide things. However, Dirtbag Dan, not as creative, because his decision coming into this matchup was to just put a lot of pizza cutters everywhere he could. So in every coat pocket, in his boots, in his socks, in his jeans. I mean,
In
he
his
had
mouth.
he was biting on one. I mean, so the referee had to confiscate, I don't know how many, but I'm just going to round it up to probably close to
He
like
could
10.
have probably ran one of those wands like they have in
Yeah,
TSA.
yeah. I mean, so that's the kind of person you're dealing with. Now, a lot of BOTB fans know that, but there may be some out there who don't. And
There
I
may be
didn't.
a lot of new fans like, we didn't.
We've only seen him once.
Yeah.
So this matchup, I mean, if you're surging in King, in King Bomani, you have to be wondering who
See,
in the world.
you did it too there.
Well, I wanted to say, I don't want to just call him King. There's a lot of kings running around. Jeff King, King Bomani, Brandon Day calls himself the king of the kingdom. There's a lot of kings running around. Anyway, point is,
I needed a table.
this was a great tag team match. I mean, if you're Surge and Bomani, what are you thinking? I don't even know. Do you know what they're thinking? I have no clue. I mean,
Who let this lunatic in the ring?
it's an unpredictable. You don't know what they're capable of, and you also don't know. Yeah,
This guy's going to cut me.
He's a lunatic. Yeah, he has a bunch of
This guy's
pizza
gonna cut
cutters.
me.
What if the ref missed a pizza cutter?
I'm surprised they didn't run.
Well, come on, they're not scaredy cats now. See, that's why. Go ahead. Yeah. See, you're laughing. You see what we have to deal with here? They're not scared. What is your problem with Surge and Bomani?
I just don't like him.
You used to like King Bomani.
He's alright.
Surge is like another guy who I'd put money on to be a champion with. Well,
I
he's
could
already tag team champion. I mean, world champion within a year.
I could
or two.
see him going to the heavyweight.
He easily could, right?
I couldn't say easily, because, I mean, obviously there's a tough competitor to get that heavyweight championship. Like, it would be a rough road,
Right.
but he has a chance to get up there, I'm sure.
Well, halfway through this matchup, something interesting happened. Really, not even halfway. Well, I would say it was halfway, 3/4. Point is that at some point during this matchup, Congo Kong just walked away. I guess he wasn't happy
You know,
with
completely honest
Dirtbag
with you,
Dan's performance.
with size comparison, I probably would have too.
I mean, Dirtbag Dan was kind of just being a crazy guy.
You can't tell me he chose Dirtbag Dan.
You think
I
David,
feel like he was forced.
You think Spectre maybe
Yes.
found him?
I feel like somebody,
Could be.
He said, all right, this is going to be your partner, being your manager. I think you should take him out there. You know, that would be our next good option.
That's an interesting. Okay, that's fair. I like that.
Don't
that
think
would
he
ex-
was happy with it
that would
very
expl-
much.
That would explain why I walked out.
Yeah, I don't think he was happy with it.
So
very
of course,
much.
then it became a 1-on-2, and no offense to Dirtbag Dan, he is crazy enough that he could potentially beat two people at once, but
He just don't have the size.
the size difference, and being away from BOTB for a while, I think got to him. So Surging Kings were able to get the victory, and then after the match,
Surge and King.
Surging Kings. Then after the match, though, this is the most important part, is that Congo Kong came out and he made sure that he let Dirtbag Dan know that he did not approve of Dirtbag Dan
Well-
because he attacked Dirtbag Dan and actually pile drove him, if I remember correctly, or somehow injuring his neck, he's okay, he's good now, he's fine. It was luckily nothing serious, but he hurt Dirtbag Dan. So Dirtbag Dan immediately comes back to BOTB and then gets double crossed immediately.
Well,
Well, that's what I guess what happens when you've been gone for a while.
do you blame him?
Do you have any friends? Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I agree with you. I really do.
especially it doesn't seem like you picked him.
I think
I
that
feel
was
like
the
it was a
cement.
forced interaction or a forced partnership that he did not want.
Yeah.
So why would he give a rat's ass if he has to stay out there or come back?
No, that's very fair. I think that's a very good point. I agree with you.
Like, he went
I
out
think
there,
that
he
proved
tried.
I think that proved it.
He attempted to work with him.
So obviously,
But-
Surge and Bomani are going to defend the titles. We know what's next for them. But Congo Kong, now that's lost the titles, then technically lost the chance to get it back. So what's next for Congo Kong? Madman
And it's
Fulton
hard
hasn't been
telling
seen for
where
a
his
while.
partner is.
Yeah, we
I
haven't
mean,
we haven't seen David Barnabas Spector in a while.
Yeah, hey, he's missing a partner
We've
and a
seen him.
manager.
We saw him when they lost the titles, but we haven't seen him since because that's when they stole the golden ticket. What is he doing with that golden ticket? Where is he at? You know, we haven't seen him.
It's getting close to that time to cash that thing, or because they're going to be going for another one.
Should be coming up, yeah. Should be coming up.
The 31st.
Well, I don't know if that's the 31st or not, but
The golden ticket
usually, yeah,
I thought it was, because they do it every year.
calendar year, maybe. I don't know. It hasn't been announced
I'm
yet.
I'm almost sure it's that, but
Well,
I don't know for sure.
The point is that we haven't seen him. Where is he at? So what does that leave Kong? Does Kong now go to the heavyweight? Does he try to find another tag team partner to take on King and Surge? I don't know.
I personally think it would be best for him just to go toward the heavyweight. Now,
I mean-
being by himself, I mean, he really. Who wants to go through the trouble of finding a tag team
And he doesn't have
person,
doesn't have a lot of friends on the roster,
working with them,
right?
getting a game plan set up, just to go in there and potentially be disappointed again? It's probably better off to take a break from the tag team
Yeah,
and jump into, because I know he's more than capable
yeah.
in trying to get that heavyweight championship.
I agree. I 100% agree. But the heavyweight division is stacked. And you know what? I just thought of Dirtbag Dan's name for that 4-on-4 at Morris Hill because he is a former hardcore
I
champion.
mean, he could be a good potential candidate, but
So he
they've
could be
got
somebody
to
on
feel
Benjamin
him out
Chimera's
now. They got to make sure he's going to come.
Especially since Hooks has said things that's true also.
Like
Benjamin
they've
Chimera
got to be able to feel him. You
that's
can't
true.
if you
if you
try and
Benjamin-
count on. He's hard to count on right now.
That's
like
true.
they've got to build that back of all them times he said he wasn't going to show up, wasn't going to, or
Yeah, if
was
you're-
going to show up, wasn't going
and
to show
if
up.
you're
and
Benjamin
didn't.
Chimera, you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah, no, you can't, because then you're out a partner, and then you have to scramble to find another one, which it's not hard, but
There's plenty of people I'm sure you can find who dislike
I'm sure they've got to meet
Ledbetter
up.
on that. Yeah.
They've got to work, figure
Yeah.
stuff out, and you just don't have that time the day of to do that.
very
I'm
good
sure they
point.
got to have a meeting and probably watch some previous matches, because you know Denham films them all,
Yep.
or Denham's crew, whoever the hell it is, films them all.
Yeah.
And they get uploaded on BOTB's page, so I'm sure they're taking them and breaking them down like film,
Oh, I'm sure.
trying to get
I'm sure.
ideas of what they have coming toward them. Because I mean, you're looking at Benjamin Chimera. He hasn't worked with us long,
Right.
so
A lot of tape on him though. You can find him everywhere.
yeah. Oh yeah,
I mean, it's just the food for thought. So I
he's
think
got a wiki.
either way, he does. Either way, I think that it'll be interesting to see Dirtbag Dan again. I want to see him again. Very
Oh,
badly.
yeah.
I hope that it's the hardcore because the hardcore division, always needs people willing to do stuff like that. So I hope we see him again. But Kong, I
And
think
from what
hardcore
Denham said,
or heavyweight.
that it seems like Dirtbag Dan's a pretty good competitor with Hooks when it comes to heavyweight.
Right.
Or not heavyweight, hardcore or
Yeah.
pure. No, that sticker's gone.
Sticker's gone. It's hardcore again. There's no Amos anymore.
I seen it get ripped off.
Yeah, it's
gone.
It's gone. No more pure.
Thank God. Amos done messed that all the way up.
Well, again, Hooks said it before, and we'll find out later tonight who the new hardcore champion is. But Hooks has said it before. He seems to be that every time someone beats him for the title, they always seem to run off somewhere. I mean, Dirtbag Dan's one of those, and now Amos. So
Well, yeah, if they already got the title, why would they feel obligated to go in there and defend it?
that seems to be the thought process.
I
of some.
mean, hardcore isn't easy, I'm sure.
That's also true, though.
Like, why would you want to
Takes a lot
defend
out
it
of your
multiple times?
Hooks does. Hooks has and does, and
You know, a lot of people don't have the love that Hooks has for hardcore wrestling.
that's true.
They get in
I
there and
think
like,
most
ooh, hey, I've got a hardcore championship now. What do I need to do anything else? Hooks gets in there and just absolutely, you can tell he loves hardcore wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, hardcore wrestling seems to be like in his heart. That is what he's destined to do.
Oh yeah,
And he hasn't turned away from it yet.
yeah.
And honestly, still my favorite hardcore wrestler.
I know. I must hurt you to say because he's teaming with Ledbetter and Denham.
You know,
I
that's-
you don't like Ledbetter and Denham.
That
so-
may be here nor there. That's maybe just a bad decision on his part. But honestly,
I think it's a great decision.
I don't think he's ever going to not be my favorite hardcore. I mean, you got Jeff King, sure.
Shane Douglas.
I haven't, Shane Douglas, but I haven't seen them hardcore enough to be like, oh man, maybe I actually like. I know Shane Douglas has a history of hardcore wrestling. He's known heavily
whole
for
history.
hardcore wrestling.
Yeah.
He's hardcore wrestled for years. He's a little bit older now. I don't foresee him going in depth of trying to get hardcore like he was.
Well, we'll find out in the main event of the show. That's what we'll find out. Lucy B. Sweet and Bashley Bones is the next show. Now, Lucy B. Sweet did wrestle earlier on in the night, had a title match against Shauna Reed that she was unsuccessful in, so now she has the opportunity to defeat Bashley Bones. This is what we were talking about earlier on in the show, about as far as we might have our answer for who the next person is, depending on who wins this matchup. So, this is a big matchup for them. Andrew Williams, who was also at the Versailles show, came out once again with Lucy B. Sweet. There was, of course, underhanded tactics going on. Anytime Andrew Williams, anyone on the outside of the ring, there's always a chance for stuff to go on. And Andrew Williams was getting involved, was distracting referees, was distracting
So you mean
Bashley Bones.
Bobby Fulton does underhanded tactics? He said anyone on the outside
There's
of
always
the
a
ring.
chance. I said there's always a chance. Bobby Fulton doesn't. But Andrew Williams was. And that was one of the reasons why this matchup, it was a great matchup, but when you have someone on the outside, it always taints it a little bit. Anytime they're trying to get involved, just stay on the outside. Don't get involved.
Are you critiquing her talent?
Not her. I'm saying, why do you need someone on the outside to distract you?
Why wouldn't you want that support? That's all the people are coming out for. They're supportive.
Yeah, but the support...
You have that support, it gives you a through-the-roof advantage.
There's a certain level of support, and then there's a certain level where you're getting yourself involved, and that's what Andrew Williams is doing.
He was not getting involved.
Now, before we get any further, we got to mention that Lucy B. Sweet, we've seen her with some victories. We've seen Bashley Bones with some victories. The last time we saw Lucy B. Sweet, she was talking about her and Bashley Bones could maybe be a tag team.
She's not very sweet in the ring.
She's not very sweet anymore. She has changed. I don't know if Andrew Williams, we talked about this last time, I'm not sure if Andrew Williams has changed her, or if she's just seen this change of heart as far as like where she sits in the women's division, and she thinks this is her way to the top. It's not a bad decision because, listen, I like Bashley Bones. I like Lucy B. Sweet both. I think they're obviously very talented. They're very great. They could be future champions. But Lucy B. Sweet's edge on this show was able to get her the victory.
Yep.
That edge of having Andrew Williams on the outside to provide distractions, whether you want
have
to admit
that support. Yes, have that support
The
and her good talent.
The distractions and talent. I'm not saying
The support and talent. You gotta have. You could have support
and talent. Distractions and talent. We're able to give her the victory. Now, it's not an upset victory in my opinion, but I thought going into this matchup, just because again Lucy B. Sweet wrestled earlier, she lost.
Yeah.
To Shauna.
Well, I mean, you gotta think of.
Now it's like, well, she's already lost once. Is she in her head about it? Like, and Bashley Bones coming in didn't have a match earlier. Like, I thought Bashley Bones was going to win. So when Lucy B. Sweet got the victory, I was kind of shocked. And I'm not saying because Lucy B. Sweet's not talented. It was just like, whoa, she was able to get a victory after losing to Shauna.
That and both of these girls came in about the same time.
But of course, again.
So I mean, you got the same you've got the same. They're kind of sitting at the same experience level compared to like Shauna Reed, that's been
Yeah.
And then. So you got experience. So that one could have went either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a really a very hard match to judge.
Yeah.
Before you seen it.
Yeah. No,
now, if you were there, you seen it. It was obviously a damn good match.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. So I mean, Lucy B. Sweet, she got the victory. Seems like maybe the next move for her, the next chance for her, is Shauna Reed.
Yeah, I wouldn't see why she wouldn't go for Shauna.
I mean, she's got a victory.
I mean, every woman right now in the women's division should be going for Shauna Reed.
Right, and these guys, in talking about Lucy B. Sweet and Bashley Bones, these ladies have wrestled each other before. So I believe the series is split now 1-1 between the two. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think the important thing for Lucy B. Sweet is that she was able to get a victory. She can go to Denham and say, "Hey, I got a victory at Armageddon. How many other people on your roster were at Armageddon who were women who also won? Oh, wait, just me, right?
Yep.
Give me a title shot." And again, here's another thing too. If Lucy B. Sweet just goes on to the internet, right, on Facebook, and just says, "I want Shauna Reed," Shauna Reed's not going to say
she's not going to deny it, and then Denham has no choice.
I mean, it's hard to critique Lucy B. Sweet's strategy of just being like, "Hey, I got the victory. I deserve the title shot." So I think that's the next step. And as far as Bashley Bones goes, listen, Bashley Bones, very talented, has some wins under her belt. She's defeated Casey Clay in the past. She's beat Lucy Sweet, I believe, in the past. So this is a little bit of a step back for her, and I think that she's, like you said, maybe going to have to look at someone like Paris McQueen.
Yep. Right?
Who also lost at Armageddon. Maybe try to aim for her and think, oh, if I can beat Paris McQueen, boom, that's my step to getting to Shauna. But Bashley Bones has to look for a reason to get back to Shauna.
It seems like there's a lot of eyes on Shauna right now.
Well, with the women's division growing as much as it has, there are a whole bunch of eyes on her.
Yeah, I mean, that's, she's sitting there holding the title.
And one thing you got to say about Bashley Bones is she's going to work her way up. Lucy B. Sweet did basically the same. Like, I may not agree with her tactics of winning by having distractions and whatnot. You can roll your eyes on it. It's the truth.
Support.
Bashley Bones is going to work her way up. So who's next for? I don't know. Like I said, maybe Paris McQueen. We'll see. So I'm excited to see that, though.
It's open skies.
Yeah, the good thing about any division really in BOTB is
Anything could happen.
even if you lose and you go back down to the bottom, the divisions are so large that there is a clear path to the top. That's what Benjamin Camara was saying at the show at Armageddon and told us when we interviewed him, is that there is a way to the top to all these divisions because there is such a loaded roster. You can't just get one victory. You have to get multiple, but if you can do that.
And if you get reset, that'll give you the motivation to climb a little faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually put in like more work to get where you want to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's always like, anytime that somebody gets set back, they're going to want to strive to be better.
Of course.
So
Competitors. All right, so our next matchup now is the Dungeon versus the Brigade. Now, the Dungeon consists tonight of Adam Rorgis and Kyle Craven, and the Brigade is, of course, Sergeant Ledbetter and Hooks. Now, this rivalry between these two go back a while. Of course, Craven, a former member of the Army of Destiny. That is still some bad blood between
the
them.
one that kept his head on straight.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's one way to look at it.
You agreed.
Well, it took me a second to realize what you meant. That's one way to look at it. I think this rivalry goes back pretty far. I even think that I believe that if you look back at a show last year that took place, Kyle Craven was in the main event of a show that decided who the champion was. Paxton ended up winning.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with these guys specifically, but because of Kyle Craven's actions, because of Adam Rorgis' actions, the Beast, his actions, of course, Sergeant Ledbetter and Hooks are going to step in. And I believe they were supposed to also have a match recently, and I believe that was a rain out.
Yes.
I think that was in a show where
that was a rain out. That was supposed to be, I think, not Morris Hill. There's so many M's. Middletown
That's Mania.
I think it was supposed to be Middletown Mania was when they were supposed to do that, but obviously the weather did not agree. I mean, they only wrestled in the rain at the fucking show.
Yeah. Anyway,
but set that aside.
Here's what's something that happened though before the matchup started, is that Hooks grabbed a microphone and he had something to say about the main event that night. That night, the main event was Jeff King and Shane Douglas going up for the vacant hardcore title. Yeah. Hooks seemed a little bit put off by the fact that he was not in that match. And understandably,
which I would be too.
Understandably, listen.
But he's had his fair share of title shots.
Right, but when you think of hardcore and BOTB, who do you think of?
Hooks.
So it's like he just wanted to air his grievances and say, listen, I don't understand why I wasn't in this match. It seems like every time someone else wins the title, they run off, and who is the one who takes that torch back?
Who has had their loyalty?
That's right, it's me. And why wasn't I at least given an opportunity? But hey, listen.
I've got to say, he probably has the right to be pissed off.
Yeah, and that's what he basically. I agree with. I really do actually agree with him. I mean, but the problem is that he looked a little bit distracted during this matchup. It seemed like his head wasn't 100% fully in this match. Now,
well, no, you just watch the guy you don't even know come in and win a title that you've worked your whole career on.
Right, or Shane Douglas, who, again, I don't know if Hooks and Shane Douglas have crossed paths yet. So either of those two guys win a title, it's like, well, why wasn't I involved in this? I mean, actually, the thing is, I don't know, it's so frustrating.
Now, I gotta say,
I get
it
where
was a little bit of a low blow to say that his only fans was his family.
Well, we're jumping ahead a little bit here. You've kind of already spoiled the ending to this show, so that's great.
Oh, yeah, I did.
But I don't think people who weren't there noticed, and people who are already know, so who cares? But
yeah, if you were there, you should have been there anyway.
You're jumping ahead a little bit, but yes.
Sorry, my brain's working ahead because I'm excited.
I know, I'm excited.
I'm excited.
But the point is that this was a match that has great implications also. Again, I've talked about it before. Hooks and Ledbetter are very close, I feel like, to maybe getting tag team title shots. And it went over the sorry, I'm drawing the Dungeon. Excuse me, I'm drawing an absolute blank. The Dungeon, that could propel them even further. It doesn't seem like
potentially
they want to be tag team champions, but they could be. I feel like at this point. And the Dungeon, if they get a victory, they get a victory over Ledbetter, and
that would have been huge.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
But as the match goes on, and the match was great. Listen, Craven fall away slammed Ledbetter. Hooks had some great power. Ring was falling apart. That's just because there's four big guys. Has nothing to do with the ring. Nothing to do with the ring. Have you ever seen Men in Black? Yeah. It had nothing to do with the ring.
Nothing to do with the ring.
All because they were big guys. Anyway, point is, it was a great match. I think at some point I wrote down here, Ledbetter gave Rorgis
Letter B.
Ledbetter gave Rorgis a wedgie. So that's kind of what we're working with here. I mean, it doesn't seem like they were super. Here's the thing. I think here's the thing. Hooks and Ledbetter don't take themselves too serious.
No.
Which is an advantage. A
Yes.
lot of people think like the Dungeon take themselves super seriously, right? And
Well, they know they can inflict some pain.
Right.
Like,
but when you counteract that, instead of counteracting that with violence, if you counteract that with a little bit of like, for lack of a better term, goofiness,
control.
A little bit, it's a little bit of like it off puts the edge of the. So I think that's kind of like throws your opponent off. See, Hooks, I've only been in training for like 7 and 8 weeks as of recording this, and Ledbetter's already kind of taught me a thing or two. I'm just saying. He hasn't taught me that at all. I'm just guessing. Next time I see him, he's probably going to be like, "You're stupid. That's not what I."
It would be awesome if I got to go into a class with Hooks.
Well, hey,
there's a second training. That would be bucket list.
There's a second training class coming up. Maybe he can.
I'm already in it.
Announcement. Did you already announce
it? Was already announced on the dang on
the live. That's right. Jesus,
Are you forgetting that we did a whole ass live?
I've got a lot going on right now in life, man.
Jeez, I'm sitting here jumping rope and head, being real excited, foiling shit, and you're sitting there. I forgot.
The point of the matter is
that what Ledbetter taught you to forget?
No,
because you have better memory than that.
That's my fault.
I
have a lot going on.
I think that's what they're teaching them. They're banging them in the head to make them forget shit.
No,
make them turn into Ledbetter's little minions.
No, it is a great.
So that way he can finally get a crew that will actually do everything he wants and everything he says and jump when he says.
Listen,
there's everything.
A lot
that aspect of.
A lot of
being
that
a minion.
A lot of that BOTB roster really likes Sergeant Ledbetter. All right, you're one of the people, and there's some people who have legitimate gripes. Even Hooks had one. But I'm just saying, you're on the minority of that list.
Hooks should be on edge.
Boy, he is, and we'll get to that later. But the point is that in this matchup, before we get any further, we're almost pulling too far ahead. The brigade was able to get the victory. Hooks and Sergeant Ledbetter were able to get the victory. This was a big victory. I believe it was with a schoolboy. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I've seen a lot of wrestling over the past couple of weeks. Give me a little bit of a break here.
There he goes again.
But it was a great matchup between these four, and listen, I think that this kind of finally maybe puts a little bit of a nail in the coffin of this rivalry between these four. As far as we know what's next for Sergeant Ledbetter and Hooks. They're in that 4-on-4 at Moores Hill.
Yes.
But the Dungeon, you're a big fan of the Dungeon. What do you want to see from the Dungeon next? Do they continue in the tag team?
The tag team championship.
I kind of agree, honestly.
I really want to see them go for that championship.
Because imagine Craven and Rorgis, or even the Beast, three big guys. You take your choice of the two, taking on Surge and Bomani. That
would be a very, very good match.
Match of the night, almost. I mean, every match that we've talked about, this could be it.
This roster wasn't fair, or this lineup wasn't fair.
This is a killer show.
It is hard to pick. You can't pick match of the night out of this.
Right.
I don't think, because every match was amazing in its own way, and I think Dunham did it on purpose.
It's almost
like it draws people in.
It's almost like he knows how to run a wrestling show and has only been doing it for I don't know how long,
since 2016.
Since 2016. So we're getting really 8 years. Weird.
It's crazy how that happens.
To the final two matches of the night. Now this is my favorite part of the night. These are two cage matches. These are where Denham puts the blood feuds in this.
This is where the feuds go to rest.
This is where. Listen, if you're going into a cage, you must have a problem with the person across from you.
Yes.
And so, hey, we saw it in the first matchup in the cage. This could have been a main event on any card, including this one. Most of these matches could have been. All of these matches really, realistically, could have been. And that match is Ethan Evans and TJ Fury. Now, Ethan Evans and TJ Fury have been feuding for a long time. It dates back all the way. They were masked men together with Amos.
It dates from when they become unmasked.
Actually, it even dates even further than that. Really, when you think about it, they grew up friends.
Oh yeah, I guess it does go pretty deep.
Their family knows each other. They're friends with each other. They know each other very well. So this dates back even years before that. But wrestling-wise, they were masked men with Amos. TJ Fury was blamed for a loss, gets unmasked by Ethan Evans. A little bit later on, Ethan Evans is unmasked by TJ Fury. This leads to this rivalry. They wrestled in Versailles, where Ethan Evans got caught using the brass knuckles and got a loss, but he did hit TJ Fury in the head with brass knuckles right before a cage match later on that night. So, who really won? Then, this matchup had a lot going into it. Now, I was standing there. I had to have extra support by the cage, because listen, if those cage, the cage was well put together, but listen, wrestling fans know, Hell in a Cell, Mankind gets put through a cage and it falls through. No one expected it. If someone gets thrown into this cage and God forbid something happens and it falls on fans, someone has to be there to hold on, right?
Yeah.
When I was there, though, you can feel the tension with this
I'm sure.
matchup.
You
I mean,
can
as
feel
soon
the
as it was
tension from the
announced,
sound booth.
as soon as it was announced, the tension was insane. Ethan Evans, of course, comes out first. This is an important thing to mention because Ethan Evans comes out first. We don't normally talk about entrance,
No.
but this is important. Ethan Evans goes over to a member of TJ Fury's family. I believe it's his was a cousin,
I think it was.
I believe, or a sister,
cousin
maybe,
or sister.
was something like that. It was a family member, and knocks her hat off. Now, that's an obvious sign of disrespect, and we saw, I believe it was his sister.
Yeah, I think it was his
sister. We've seen these two talk about, well, Ethan talk about TJ's family. And we talked about whether or not that's a smart strategy. You said it is. I said it kind of can be, but can also backfire. When that happened, TJ Fury's dad, who is a professional wrestler, mind you, steps in the way also. He also gets his hat knocked off. TJ Fury saw enough. He came running out. Didn't even get a chance to play the music. You barely got. You played it like, oh crap.
I didn't hardly get a chance to play his music.
He got involved. His dad got involved. In fact, his sister even got involved. I believe if it is TJ's sister, if it's not, I apologize. But I believe gave Ethan Evans a good old slap. That was before TJ Fury even ran out. I mean, this was
gave him a slap and he got a belt.
Yeah, that's right. And then so when Ethan Evans got hit, TJ Fury was taking. His dad took the belt off, slapped him. This is before the match is even started.
Yeah, this ain't even a match. They weren't even in the damn cage yet.
It was absolute chaos. Families are getting involved. And listen, Ethan Evans brought that on himself.
Underhanded tactics.
Bell hasn't rung yet. And
just saying. I know they're getting the head on before it even starts, what stirs his stamina off, before he even gets a chance to get in there.
Ethan Evans started it by naming family members.
Be the bigger person, just walk away. Because all it is him trying to get in his head, and you know what? It's working.
She was just standing there, waiting for TJ Fury to come out. And Ethan Evans went over, knocked the hat off. Dad steps in, knocks the hat off also. Then there's a slap. Then there's a belt. Listen, you started.
Sounds like they gotta use weapons in order to do anything.
You started it, though. You're the one that... He said he was going to take TJ out in a body bag.
Well,
if
that's the point of that.
If someone
match
said that about you, your family would step in for sure.
I don't know. Don't. I can handle this like a man in the ring with no assistance.
Oh my god.
But there was assistance.
Okay, sure, but you can't blame TJ Fury's
underhanded tactics.
It's not the same.
A little bit of antics going on.
How
about that? Let's do some little bit of antics before the match started.
It's not the same. Although maybe later you do have a fair.
I do.
You do have a fair gripe later, and we'll get to that. So the match finally ends up in the ring, and they're doing some crazy stuff.
After Ethan Evans getting the shit beat out of him, mind you.
Well, listen, he turned it around, is able to turn it around. They got back into the cage, and listen, and they fought. They got into the ring, and then at some point,
it always feels so real. The tension, I guess I can't say real. You can tell they cannot stand each other.
Oh no,
when they're face to face.
It is real. These two do not like each other.
It's not one of those. Oh, yeah, I don't like you.
It's not one of these things.
It's one of those.
I want to climb up in a division. This
I
is
want to kick the shit out of you.
I mean, basically in YouTube. Well, I'll have to see how I word this here, but basically what Ethan Evans said was, "I want to unalive you."
Yeah.
To TJ Fury.
That's
body
where
bag
it's
only
hitting.
references one thing. This is what the level that this match is at.
Yeah, that is the only way it seems that they want to be able to end this feud. So I mean, that's a pretty serious way to end the feud. But
at some point, and again, Darren, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe at some point, again, because I was holding the cage, so I didn't get to write anything down, and it's been a couple weeks now, but I do believe at some point when Ethan Evans was going to make his way out of the cage, I do believe that TJ Fury's dad enacted one final act of revenge. Listen, you talk about TJ Fury and his family as much as he has, and TJ Fury didn't just walk out after that. He continued the beatdown, so Ethan had a chance. TJ Fury was able to get the victory.
Underhanded tactics.
Oh, it's not underhanded tactics. Listen, if you're
going out of the cage and somebody pushes you back in the cage, what is that?
But
what would you call it? Wait, what did you call it when Denham had his cage match and it was interrupted?
Here's the difference.
What did you call it? Underhanded tactics.
They hid from who they actually were. They hid from it. They had a mask on. And that was completely unnecessary.
This was unnecessary too.
No,
you gonna let him finish it in the ring?
He threatened to kill his son. Sorry, YouTube.
Okay.
Unalive his son.
And his son needs to defend himself, and clearly he's a big boy. He can handle it.
Listen, Ethan was not playing fair.
TJ has the ability the strength, the mindset to destroy anyone. Why does he need assistance?
It's not that he needs assistance. It's just that when you talk trash about someone's family so much, when you talk trash about like I
Maybe
said,
his dad needs a
you have sons. You have sons.
I do.
Imagine this is years down the road because they're little. If it happened now, it would be a huge, it would be a huge issue.
I would have to still throw him in there. And say,
Imagine years down the road if someone threatens your son to the point that Ethan Evans did to TJ. How would you react?
I would expect him to handle it.
But you wouldn't be.
He don't need me to hold his hand.
It's not holding the hand.
They can handle it.
It's just that Ethan Evans is in every single way. He used brass knuckles earlier on in the night. He's using Can you call that underhanded tactics? If you're willing to call that
brass knuckles.
See, so if you're willing to call that underhanded,
the ref did call that one.
If you're willing, literally, it was a DQ. But if that's underhanded tactics, fine. Fine. Then if you want to call that underhanded tactics, fine. But you know what? I'm okay with it. I support it because listen, my morals. I think I'm a little bit morally in the right. I'm okay with underhanded tactics if it's morally okay.
Yeah, he's all of a sudden,
time,
when
it's
it's TJ
morally
Fury, he is automatically, hey, this is okay.
No, listen, I call out BS every time I see it. And I will admit that you do have an argument. And Ethan Evans may use that argument to get a rematch in the future.
I think he should get a rematch.
But
you get the shit beat out of you before the match.
Okay, but who started that? That's the thing.
Then you go for the win and gets interrupted.
Okay, but
clearly he got it fairly.
You're overlooking.
He got it fairly.
You're overlooking why it happened.
But did he not get it fairly? Did he not go in that cage?
Yeah.
Get him down and start to make his exit fairly. Did he use brass knuckles?
No.
What are you scrolling on your phone for?
Because there's a match announcement I needed to say. I'm done listening to you. I know what you're saying.
Scrolling on his phone. We're sitting there having a serious talk, and he's sitting there scrolling on his freaking Facebook like this podcast doesn't matter.
No, I was looking up a match announcement. No, here's what I'm saying. I agree with you. He did have a moment where he could have won that match. Okay, that's fair. You have a legit argument. But my thing is that from now on, from this moment on, you must call out all other.
If I see him, yeah, I will.
So it's just convenient that you see this one.
Well, it was clear he was going for the win.
The family had the right to defend themselves, and that's what they did.
We'll agree to disagree. Because I ain't got all night. I leave in 8 hours, if that, to go on a damn trip. I ain't got time to sit here and argue with you.
Good riddance. Bye. That's what I'm saying.
Fine.
All right, so the next match. No, in all seriousness, this was a good matchup. You could have this argument about the finish. I don't think that this is necessarily the end. I think it could be, but I think we see these guys fight each other down the line. Now, the reason I was scrolling on my phone is because TJ Fury does have a match in Moores Hill, and it is a zero-gravity #1 contenders match, and it is against Matthew Taylor. That's a huge matchup.
Yes,
I mean, the winner of that potentially gets his title shot at New Year's Eve Bash. Who knows?
And you got some competition when you're getting in the ring with Matthew Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is a guy I personally wouldn't mess with either.
Yo, he is so skilled. Matthew Taylor is. He is so skilled. No, he hasn't racked up a lot of wins in BOTB.
And he doesn't do a lot of smack talk either.
But he is so skilled, he could easily get wins if he wanted to. He has gotten some wins, but I mean, either of these two could win, and I could see a great match with Justin Xavier whenever that time comes for the zero gravity title. So I'm very excited about that.
Which we haven't seen defended for a while.
It's been a while. I think March.
Yeah, I mean was the last time. It's been a while. Going just a few 6 months.
Justin's a busy man. He is a busy man. He's talented.
I'm sure defending titles in other areas.
I'm sure he's a talented man. So
sorry, talented man.
Yeah, sorry, I had something coming. I had a hiccup or something coming there. All right, main event time. Okay.
Main event.
Also, before we get to the main event, Ethan Evans, I don't know what's next for him. Hardcore, potentially, yes. Maybe part of that 4-on-4, potentially. I mean, who knows?
He might. I don't see him agreeing to do the 4-on-4.
Who knows, though? I mean,
he's got his eye on a prize that...
If Benjamin Chimera comes to him and says, hey, I saw something in you, I mean, hey.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just saying
it could be a potential.
Could be, right. Now, this next matchup in the main event is crowning the new hardcore champion. It was vacated since we haven't seen or heard from Amos in a while.
I may have gave it away.
You may have given it away earlier, but we're going to pretend that you didn't.
But we both got in that rabbit hole.
We did. No, that's fair. That's fair. No,
we both got into that rabbit hole.
Here's the point. The point is that this matchup is between two people who have fought each other in the past. It was Shane Douglas and Jeff King. Now, the last time we saw these guys wrestle was the last time we were at Cleves. Shane Douglas was able to get the victory. You said there was brass knuckles being involved, which didn't really matter because at the end of the day, it was a hardcore title match, so not much I can say. Or it wasn't. That wasn't a hardcore title match. It was a hardcore match. It was a street fight, so didn't really matter if there was brass knuckles.
Yeah,
or
brass
not.
knuckles is loud.
But Shane Douglas did leave that match limping and injured. Now he's back, fully healthy. Could potentially become the hardcore champion. Hasn't been hardcore champion, I believe, in Battle on the Border.
He hasn't in Battle on the Border. I think we've seen him wrestle.
But he's obviously
Like
been
maybe 4 hardcore matches at
Oh,
Battle on the Border.
and they've been great. He had a dog collar match with Brandon Day. He's had plenty of hardcore matches since being here. And
Well, I was just going off of like his previous. It seemed like he kind of stepped back from hardcore when he was like since we've been there.
well, I think every match we've seen him in, besides like 2 or 3, maybe have been hardcore. I mean, I think every
No.
match has been hardcore almost in some capacity. He hasn't
He's
wrestled
had-
like a
he-
straight up one-on-one match,
He's had a dog
while.
collar.
and then just some hardcore matches, some street fights, and some.
Yeah, I guess
some
he did
whatnot.
have a few
Yeah,
street
he's-
fights. Didn't
Listen, I would love to see you say to Shane Douglas's face that you're taking a step back from doing hardcore. He would hit you with the kendo stick so fast.
I haven't seen him hit nobody with a kendo stick.
He hit Jeff King with weapons in this match because, spoiler alert, guess what? When you're talking about Shane Douglas and Jeff King, of course it's going to start on the outside of the ring. 'Cause
Well,
why
yeah.
wouldn't it? Now, there was a little bit of controversy here, in my opinion. Shane Douglas came out first, was in the ring, and he was talking as he normally does, doing his stuff, talking, walking around, getting ready for the match. Jeff King comes out, and when Jeff King comes out, some big giant guy, and I'm not 100% sure who his name is, so I'm not even going to say his name, but he came with Shane Douglas. He was sitting at the table earlier in the night with Shane when it was during intermission, so he obviously knew Shane. Hits Jeff King with the chair and starts attacking Jeff King. Shane doesn't even have to do any work. He's not getting out of that ring. He's letting this guy do all the damage. Now, 2 of your favorites come out to make the save. That's Surge and Bomani. Surge and Bomani came out and ran off this guy. I'm not, again, 100% sure who this guy was, but he runs off. The guy doesn't run off very far. Pops a chair down, and he sits down and said, hey, I'll let it go. Then, of course, Jeff King and Shane Douglas are outside. Shane Douglas walks outside of the ring and gets Jeff King, and he's throwing him into posts and dragging him all over the place.
Of course, they're not going to get in the ring yet. They like to rough it out on the outside.
Threw Jeff King into some chairs, I believe,
Yep.
right? Or was it Shane who got... The point is, it was chaos. It was chaos on the outside of the ring.
Jeff King got his head busted open. He got thrown in the chairs.
Yep.
Scared the hell out of
Yeah.
one of the little ones.
Yeah, that's right. So, that's right.
Which
So,
was kind of entertaining. But
so it was mayhem on the outside. Of course it is. And, of course, half of the arena there is Jeff King fans. Half of the arena are rooting for Shane Douglas. So it's a very... It had the opposite. The last match, everyone was interested in, invested in, and they wanted to see TJ win. This match, 50-50, and I love that. We don't see that often in BOTB.
No.
So I'm happy we got to see it. Now, eventually the match does get into the ring, and when it does get into the ring, it starts getting going good. And it's, I mean, the action's great. They're taking turnbuckles and using them like everyone else was. It was a crazy matchup. However, the winner and new hardcore champion, escaping the cage to get the victory, right? Or was it a pin? Doesn't really matter. I think it was a pin, but it doesn't really matter. Either way, it doesn't matter. Escaped the cage, went over the top of the cage. I could say whatever I wanted because
Jumped
if you
through the
weren't
cage.
there, you don't know. The point is, he got the victory. The new hardcore champion is none other than Jeff King. Congratulations to Jeff King, who now has, I believe, 4 victories if you include this one. He had a victory over Shane. He had 2 victories in Sunman. Now this victory, he's the new hardcore champion. What a run he's been on.
which is pretty wild.
Since coming into Battle on the Border, I mean, he has dominated. And he beat a legend. He beat a legend in Shane Douglas. And it was a great matchup between these two. Listen, if you look on the outside looking in, if you're not a huge Battle on the Border fan, you're on the outside looking in, and you see these two guys, you're like, oh, these are 2 guys who are a little bit older. Maybe they can't go. Dude, they are scary individuals. Well, Jeff King, super nice. Shane, not so nice anymore.
He said it on his promo that he wasn't playing no games
No.
when he was going into this.
Jeff King
He
came
was
into this,
pretty serious on his promo.
he wanted to be that hardcore champion, and man, he did it. He did it no matter, it didn't matter what it was going to take. He had half of his family there. I mean, that family, they come out to support, they come out in droves. And it was really great to see. I mean, I've gotten the pleasure to know the Kings through the training school a little bit, so this was a pretty special moment for myself just to be able to see them as happy as they were.
Go butt kissing again.
Well, it's the truth, man. Hey, listen, if you were a part of this class, you know. But I'm just saying, no, it's cool to see King win. And look, like I said, to get a victory over Shane, again, I don't want to call it an upset victory, but it almost kind of seems like it.
Yeah, it's an upset victory. When
You
you,
know,
got a legend, a hardcore legend getting in the ring,
Yeah.
and you're able to defeat them, that is
A little bit of an
100% of an upset.
Now, there was, after this match, Jeff King gets out and he's celebrating with his family, walking around celebrating, and Shane Douglas grabs the microphone and he says, listen, You know, I think we had a great matchup, and it kind of seemed like he was going on a retirement route.
That's what I thought too.
It seemed like he was going at it, and then all of a sudden, BAM! And he hits Jeff King again. This is after the match is over. The match is over, and he just lays out Jeff. He fooled us again. He's done this before. He's done it again. This is now the second time in a row where he's done that, like, kind of a fake a retirement announcement, because it kind of seemed like it. And also that fake, like, encouragement of, like, hey, Jeff, I really like you. You're a good guy.
Yeah.
When he least
Yeah,
expect
trying to be all buddy.
Now, he wasn't the only one, though. Someone else came out. Again, we had Serge and Bomani earlier who came out to run off this big giant guy.
Yep.
Big giant guy's coming over. He's beating up on Jeff King also. Everyone's standing there like, what in the world is going on? Jeff King just won, and he just spoiled his homecoming. What's going on? But there was someone who did save Jeff King. And it's one of the more, in my opinion, unlikely people. And that's Hooks.
Yeah.
Hooks came out with the chair, ran towards them, and scared off the two attackers.
But
Now,
it didn't come easily.
It didn't come easily, and there was a point where I thought after he ran him off with the chair, Shane and the guy hightailed it out of there. They're running away, of course, because hey, Hooks with the chair, that's a deadly
Yeah,
weapon.
I wouldn't
That's
mess with
basically a
Hooks in
deadly
the chair.
weapon.
You see Hooks in a chair, I think everybody in that general area,
Right.
it's like, yeah, I'm gone.
Actually, I believe you're right. Actually,
Yeah, I'm gone.
but there was a moment where Hooks was looking this way. Jeff King's is standing up the opposite way. Hooks turns around, and he had a moment where he looked like he was going to, and he definitely thought about it.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way around it. He thought about hitting Jeff King with that chair. I mean, Jeff King has just won the hardcore title. Hooks earlier talked about how pissed off that made him.
Mm-hmm.
He had that opportunity, and he chose not to. But he did make it clear that he will get his title shot against Jeff King. And Jeff King is the kind of champion who is not going to say no.
Nope.
He's not going to say no. So when and where that will happen, who knows? Will that happen at, can't happen at Morris Hill, because I guess at Morris Hill, Hooks is
Yeah, I would
teaming
say
with Ledbetter.
they're having that team up
But
stuff.
maybe after.
So.
Maybe a New Year's Eve. Will it be next year in January, which is in Sunman? That was announced on
Yep.
the live.
Yeah,
See, I remember.
Hey, he remembers.
Will it be in February in Morrow? Who knows?
Which, by the way, Morrow, love that venue.
It's a great venue.
Love that venue.
It's far away from where we live, but man,
You know,
it's worth
it may be
It's
far.
worth it.
Clarksville's also far, and I enjoyed that one too.
Oh yeah, great venue.
So hopefully they go back to Clarksville.
So Jeff King gets the victory to end the night. New champion crowned. Congratulations to Jeff King. Shane Douglas, we're seeing this new edge from him. I mean, I would ask what's next for him, but Shane's going to do what Shane does. He's going to
Just
go
keep
after.
us mystery.
Yeah, he's going to go after that. I mean, I assume that he's going to want another piece of Jeff King. Right now, the series is split 1-1. So Shane, if you're going this series route,
Jeff King's got a hell of a target on
it's
his
tied
back.
right now. And Jeff King has a huge target on his back with Dirtbag Dana returning. Ethan
got-
Evans is coming up. Then
Not
you
even
have
that. He's got
Hooks.
two pretty scary guys literally targeting him.
Yeah.
You've got Hooks coming at this direction, and you got
Yep.
I'm having a brain fart. I'm having a Derek moment.
Oh, come on. You said there's two big people coming after him, and you just
We
named
were
one
just
of them.
talking about him.
I don't know. Anyway, point is, that was a great way to end the night. I love the fact that Darren has been doing great this whole podcast, and we get to end it with him having an absolute brain fart.
You know, I've done that before. Where I've had name brain farts. I'm not good with names.
Point is,
You know that guy from Pennsylvania, that guy.
Shane Douglas.
Yeah, that guy.
I was waiting. I was hoping you'd
He's
get
got
it. I was
two.
hoping you'd get it.
Two people coming at different angles.
Yeah.
So he better.
Listen.
He's better than me.
Jeff is tough.
Yeah, I don't want them to be coming
But I
after
wouldn't
me.
want those two coming after me.
I
either.
don't want those two
no.
coming after me. I'll
It's
tell you that
legitimate
right
talent.
now.
It's
I would
legitimate
retire and lay the belt down and walk out.
Well, that's not going to happen. I know that.
Well, I know
you-
he's
you-
not.
You
but
want
that's
that
what
to
I
happen.
would do.
You want that to
If
happen.
I was in his position, I'd just walk it right over to Hooks and be like, "Here you go, bud. Have fun."
Well, that says a lot about
And
you,
then
buddy.
just let them two duke it out.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, listen, the future's bright in
But-
WTB. Who knows what's going to happen with the hardcore division? Who knows what's going to happen in any of these?
You know, bloody or not, Jeff King does fight to the end.
Bloody or not, here I come. That's how I thought.
Well, I mean, he does. I
Yeah.
mean, he
No.
was all kind of bloody when
Oh, well,
he come into those chairs.
yeah, Jeff King, yeah, he got cut open. Well, I mean, listen, he was being used as like a battering ram. He was getting thrown
I
around
was gonna say,
all
when
over
you're
the
getting
place.
thrown in the chairs,
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to bleed.
So Jeff King was able to get the victory, new hardcore champion, and that wraps up a review of Armageddon. What
I
a
know
show.
we annoyed you with a very long one, but this was just too good to try and cut anything out of it.
No, we can't cut anything out of it. And listen,
Kind of had to go in depth on this one because
Yeah.
there was a lot of detail that we had to go over.
Listen, yeah, and I mean, it was a great show. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. It's had some of my favorite moments of the year. And listen, Morris Hill is going to be great, November 23rd. I actually had it pulled up. This is why I had it pulled up. Now I'm going to have to re-pull it up because you yelled at me.
If you missed the last show, you should have been there. Because usually we don't go in depth, but we had to go in depth to make it make sense.
Right.
But if you didn't go, you should have been, and you should be at Morris Hill. I won't be there, unfortunately. That really sucks.
He's sitting here preaching about how you should be there.
It
I won't
sucks.
be there, but you should.
I hate missing shows. That's horrible, you know, because there's so much that can happen in one show, and you're like, well, all right, now I'm blindsided trying to listen to this dude that forgets his own name half the time.
Okay. Well, you also just spent the last 2 minutes having a brain fart on the legend Shane Douglas's name.
I had one. He must not be that much of a legend then.
Oh, say that to Shane's face. Say that to Shane's face. All right, heavyweight division. This is at Morris Hill Mayhem, Saturday, November 23rd. Doors open at 6, bell 6:30, and it's in the Morris Hill Fire Department in Morris Hill, Indiana. Matches will include heavyweight championship match, Paxton Calloway taking on the American Giant. Zero Gravity Division #1 contender match between TJ Fury and Matthew Taylor. Also, Fans Bring the Weapons match, Team Sergeant Ledbetter. It would be Ledbetter, Hooks, and 2 other people that, as of the minute of this recording, have not been named yet. And Team Benjamin Camara, and 3 people who have not, at the time of this taping, been named yet. Thank you guys for watching.
Before this tape is up, they possibly could be named. But
before this is up, I don't know. So here's a little bit behind the scenes and something I'm going to.
Why are you always giving away our stuff?
Darren, you said earlier you're about to go on a trip.
Yeah, I am.
You're going to be gone for 2 weeks. Because you're gone for 2 weeks, we're trying to get all these episodes done. So I believe that for you, and I'm kind of letting you know something, the schedule will be, I think, this video, and then an interview, and then I believe it'll be the review of Aurora Farmers Fair, because as of the minute, we're kind of running a little bit out of time, and you got some stuff you got to take care of, so I think we'll wait when you come back to do the Aurora Farmers Fair.
That sounds good. Give them enough dispense, because I mean we do have enough leading up, and I'm sure they're dying to hear these interviews.
Yeah,
I mean there's 2 interviews with 2 great people,
and that'll get us to when you get back, and
I
we'll
mean
talk about Aurora
you already
Farmers
give
Fair.
away one, Benjamin Camara.
Well, why don't we just announce the other one? So
we already gave away that one, so we might as well.
Benjamin Camara is coming up. I think that'll be not the next one after this, but I think it'll be 2 from now.
I think it's 2 for now.
Have an interview with TJ Fury, which should be the next thing that you see after this.
And honestly, you got 2 fantastic interviews. One was a little shorter than the other, but you knew what he was going for,
TJ Fury,
when he was going for it, and how he felt about the whole situation. He definitely got really angry during that.
TJ Fury and Benjamin Chimera both gave us great interviews. They are different in length and a little bit different in subject matter, but I learned a lot about both of them.
So you can tell the intensity.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. So I really appreciate them doing the interviews, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Also, we talked about this on the live. We actually talked about the TJ Fury interview. I think
we did.
On the live.
Because then we said we were going to try and get Ethan Evans, which
and that's
still
the next announcement I have is that I actually have not heard anything from him. But I think that after you come back from your trip,
he's going to have to answer.
We're going to have that. We're going to have an answer from him, because
especially
eventually at some point,
if he watches the interview.
I think he does, but listen, I've wrote him twice, and I'll show you here. I've wrote him a couple times now, and it's just nothing from him. It's
he's probably getting his head in the game.
I think he just right now doesn't really know, what, you know what I'm saying? I'm messaging him, and he's just not. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I sent him it was 4 or 5 messages.
Yeah, so he's kind of ducking right now, but I think once we get the interview uploaded and he gets a chance to kind of hear what TJ says, to kind of see what's going,
maybe we should.
He's probably going to have to say something.
Maybe we should wait a little bit even longer to put TJ's up.
Probably a good idea.
Try to get
maybe up Camara's out first.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, point is,
some way.
Point is, that was Armageddon. Great show,
yeah,
absolutely
fantastic
amazing.
show.
And you guys got to see our. We have meetings as well. Not only do big businesses have meetings, this is a Double D podcast meeting live on video. You guys got to see when we do meetings about when we upload videos. And
we had to give them all the behind the scenes, just give it out.
Well, might as well just do it.
We don't know when we're uploading shit, but it gets uploaded at some point.
We're trying to do 1 video a week from now.
You guys get to watch it. So I mean, if you take anything from that, you get to watch it.
Yeah. So we're not the most well-run podcast, but damn it, we do. We do something, but it's not. the most well run.
Let's talk to our editor about this.
Yeah, maybe we'll edit some stuff out of it.
Talk to our editor about this.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment in the comment section below,
Yes.
and be sure to subscribe. And when you subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you get notifications when we upload. Right now, we're sitting on enough episodes where we should be uploading every week, once a week. So make sure it might be different days during the week, but it'll be once a week.
Who knows what video it's going to be?
For the next couple of weeks. We have interviews coming up.
Because
Like
now
I said,
I'm confused.
we have 2 interviews coming up. We're trying to get a third with Ethan Evans, but he's right now hard to get a hold of.
They may see this after the interviews.
No. This is coming. This is up next. This is up next. You better get this
They
up
may
next.
see this after the interviews.
Because this is coming up next. So I'm going to be on you about getting this up there.
I'll get it on there tonight. Tonight is Thursday.
We have interviews coming up. We have reviews coming up still with Aurora Farmers Fair. We will get that in. That'll probably be one of the last, because it is the last show before Moores Hill. So that'll probably be one of the last videos you see before Moores Hill. It's the most up-to-date show.
Yeah.
So very excited about that. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram, _D_podcast. You can follow me on X, it's now called DJ Dub00. We have a TikTok, the Double Podcast. Excuse me, the Double
Podcast.
The Double D Podcast 1 on TikTok.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, just check. Make
I
sure
know,
you didn't
always-
have to correct yourself, Aaron.
You always do.
Anyways, you can't love me anymore on Snapchat. That shit got
He
old.
had so many friend requests and people trying to hit him up on Snapchat that he was like, oh,
So, add me on Facebook, Darren Schneider. That one's easy.
no one's a lot
You
easier.
can add me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Chat
You want me to
up.
put that in the down below?
Yes.
Oh God,
And
I
then
was
you
kidding.
can figure it out. You know, it's our email's obviously dry. So I mean, if you have any suggestions, you can put them on Facebook. But we also have a Facebook for the podcast, also kind of dry. My bad. It's Double D Podcast something. I haven't been
Double
on
D
there.
Podcast and Crew.
I haven't even been on there so long that I don't even remember. We've changed our name since we made that.
Since on YouTube, so that's another thing. We talked about it before, but Denim I think finally recognized it
Did he?
recently. Yeah, because on his post, the last video we made, he put our friends from Double D Productions. Listen, here's the reason we made that change, and we might go back to Double D Podcast. The reason we made the change originally was because we thought we were going to do other content outside of podcasting. We have a lot of ideas, but then life gets in the way. You know, we really only have
A lot of
time.
those ideas get ditched.
We really only have time for podcasting, so I think we are going to go back to the Double D Podcast on YouTube. But hey, it was worth a shot. We changed it. We thought it was going to be. Thought we were going to do more, but we're both very busy.
Yeah.
He has kids and
You have
family,
school.
and I have wrestling school.
And I'm about to snitch in the wrestling school.
Yeah. So
So
we're not gonna
I
have time
added
for
to the
nothing.
plate.
Anyway, this is the end of the video. We've been rambling on for too long. Have fun on your vacation.
Will do.